They erased names, rewrote history, divided families, poisoned communities, and sold lies as freedom, Black America. How many generations must disappear before we finally wake up?
They told us entertainment was enough. They told us surviving was winning.
Meanwhile, schools decline.
Community suffered, and another generation grew up disconnected from history. Black America.
Wake up before they bury another generation.
Teach the children truth before the system shapes them.
Learn the history they tried to erase from education. Build unity,
Build ownership,
build ownership.
build stronger foundations.
Black America,
Wake up,
before they bury.
another generation.
They took Africans from kingdoms and villages, packed them inside slave ships, chained them for months across the Atlantic Ocean. Millions died before even reaching American soil. Families were separated forever. Children were sold away from mothers. Men were beaten for reading books. Women were assaulted without justice. Slave owners built wealth from free labor, while black bodies were treated like property under American law. After slavery ended in 1865, freedom still did not arrive equally. Black Americans faced black codes, lynching, segregation, and Jim Crow laws. Schools were separated, neighborhoods were separated, hospitals were separated, voting rights were blocked through intimidation, literacy tests and violence. Entire black towns were burned to the ground, like Tulsa in 1921, where successful black businesses were destroyed by racist mobs. The government created redlining policies that denied black families home loans and wealth building opportunities. Highways were built through black neighborhoods. Factories left cities, and unemployment rose. Drugs flooded communities during the crack epidemic, while prisons expanded across America. Sentences for crack cocaine were far harsher than powder cocaine, even though both were forms of the same drug. Millions of black men disappeared into prisons, while families struggled without fathers and sons.
They told us entertainment was enough. They told us surviving was winning.
Meanwhile, schools decline.
Community suffered, and another generation grew up disconnected from history. Black America.
Wake up before they bury another generation.
Teach the children truth before the system shapes them.
Learn the history they tried to erase from education. Build unity,
Build ownership,
build ownership.
build stronger foundations.
Black America,
Wake up before they bury another generation.
The civil rights movement brought change through sacrifice. People marched, protested, and died, demanding equal treatment under the law. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and many others spoke about education, economics, and self-respect. Yet decades later, many black communities still face underfunded schools, police violence, poverty, health disparities, and limited access to opportunity. Social media spreads distractions faster than knowledge. Music corporations profit from promoting violence, division, and destruction, while ownership stays in the hands of executives far away from the neighborhoods affected by the messages. Black consumers spend billions every year, yet much of that money leaves the community instead of circulating to create businesses, jobs, and property ownership. History is often shortened inside classrooms. Many students learn little about African civilizations, invented scientists, or economic achievements. Some grow up believing slavery is the beginning of black history, instead of understanding the depth of African cultures before colonization. Without knowledge of history, many young people lose identity, direction, and confidence.
Communities cannot survive without fathers present, mothers supported, children educated, and neighbors united. Political promises alone
will will not save future generations. Real change requires discipline,
Financial literacy,
education,
land.
ownership, voting awareness, and community organization.
Wake up now,
Study the past now,
protect the youth now,
build the future now.
before another generation.
Disappears into prisons.
Poverty, violence, and hopelessness.
Every generation receives a warning.
Yeah,
Every generation faces a choice.
yeah.
Remain divided and distracted, or rebuild families, knowledge.
And economic strength together.
Black America.
The future depends on what happens now.
History already showed the consequences of silence.
Division and ignorance.
The next generation is watching and waiting for leadership.
Good evening. My name is Rig, aka U.S. Army Overlord, aka Union Gang. We are multi-streaming from the Antifa War Room, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Secretary of War Crimes. I was against Pete Hexseth ever taking over the Department of Defense from day one. I made scathing remarks in my uniform, caught a lot of flack from the right wing, didn't give a fuck. But every warning that we talked about has come to pass. Everything that we talked about, remember, everything that's happening right now could have been avoided for voting for that powerful black woman. But because of racism and misogyny, we are here. So now you got to experience that shit. Like my mama used to say, man, a hard head make a soft ass. And America's ass is butter right now. Because we are in a motherfucking war. A war to hell, right? I would say to nowhere, but it's really a war to hell. It's been hell on truce morale. You've been sending people back here in this bitch in body bags, led by people who are overtly racist, openly corrupt, and they are the epitome of sheer fucking incompetence. And so brave voices have, rallied to speak out. We're going to be talking about Major Watson a lot tonight because, he is like the first active duty member to speak out probably since fucking Vietnam. So this is, it's bad because this is what happens. And a lot of people, I hear a lot of comments saying that, why don't the military do something? Why don't the veterans do something? Look, first and foremost, if you really want to talk about shit, everyone has to own that. 90 million people failed to get off their ass and simply vote. How the fuck can you not vote in one of the most important elections of our lifetime? When you had a fucking convicted felon, a motherfucker who led an insurrection in 4K, lied 30,000 times. Man, I can make a whole side, live stream just naming the shit that he's did that made him unworthy. And people sat the fuck home. Or you voted third party or some other stupid ass excuse. And now America is far worse. You could have still been racist as fuck, but you put the worst white people in charge. So we gonna be on that I told you so energy. Because this shit could have been avoided. It really could have been. Now we gotta do it the hard way. Now you gonna see so much more shit happen because of these demons. So it's not just on soldiers to rise up, and we're doing our part. Shit, it may come to that. It may come to a fucking overthrow of the government. I have no idea how deep this shit go. But this shit could have been done a lot better if people just woke the fuck up and realized that shit could get worse. A lot of people in their mind just thought it couldn't get worse. But people are feeling that shit now, and you're going to feel it even more so. You got to be motherfucking voting, man. At every level of the government, you got to be out here rocking your vote, especially if you black. My mama was a fucking slave in Mississippi over this shit. Understand that she didn't get a right to fucking vote. Most of her life, she was under that Jim Crow, under the fucking brutal oppression of Jim Crow. And I'd be damned if I let these demons pull us back into that shit. So, yeah, I got you. Plans on the midterms? make that shit too big to rig. This is your last chance for democracy. Everybody should be voting. Everybody and their motherfucking daddy and mama and grandmother and auntie and neighbor needs to be showing up at the fucking polls. I don't care if ICE is there. I don't give a fuck if the Marine Corps standing out front. You go rock your vote and don't you take nothing. Every time I go to vote, I'm prepared for war. I roll in that bitch deep, heavily armed. And I'm damn sure ain't nobody taking my motherfucking right to vote for me. Period. And so it is what it is. It is what it is, man. These people have shown you who they are. They've shown you that they're the Confederacy. And tonight, guys, listen, I'm coming on a little later because I had to. I got a big-ass video really exposing the fuck out of Pete WhiskeyLeaks Hexseth. I had to add that to my compilation tonight. And believe me, you go hear from veterans, you go hear from the community all over the fucking place. But this last one, and I'm telling you, a lot of people got the major fucked up. They think that they try to say he's some kind of right-wing or left-wing lunatic. That's not it at all, man. The guy is probably more conservative-leaning. And I know the last video I'm going to play tonight is more conservative-leaning, and they show no quarter to Hexseth. They expose him for all the fucking crimes that he's done. And it's really good. It's really good. So as you know, the major has been charged by the administration formally. He's been hit up on 10 fucking counts on the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Like Article 88, contempt from government officials. This shit has not been used in modern history and may have never been used. So they really try to make an example out of him. And that's why we must rally for the major. I'm going to play his videos. I'm going to play his original video tonight. The one he did when me and Representative Green was standing right by him before he got arrested the first time. And I'm going to play his video from CNN. But right now, he's being held in solitary confinement. Locked down 23 hours a day like he's some kind of terrorist. Because the regime is fucking ridiculous. And that's why we must rally for this major. We must rally for this major. They got events coming up. I know Cliff going to be leading some shit out there in D.C. We need to make sure we're there. Every veteran that's in striking distance, you need to turn the fucking heat up on these demons and tell more people cry out. And they can't fucking arrest everybody. The veteran community should be on their ass. Pete WhiskeyLeaks Hexseth should be charged because he is a motherfucking war criminal. But let's get into it, guys. I got a lot of video to talk about. We'll bring some people in later to talk more about it. But I want you guys, I really want to get into it. So without any further ado, let's get it.
The first active duty U.S. service member calling for Donald Trump's impeachment and removal from office is now facing criminal charges, extremely rare criminal charges that could throw him behind bars for years. The Trump administration has charged Major Jason Watson with several criminal charges, including multiple charges under Article 88 of the United States Military Code. Only 2 other prosecutions under this code have been issued since 1951. It is extremely rare. Watson is currently being held in a solitary confinement type setting. According to his attorney, he has been allowed once out of his cell to go to the rec yard and is really just stuck inside of a room. Major Watson called for the president's impeachment, called for the vice president's impeachment over the war in Iran. And now he faces several criminal charges, 2 under Article 8, an additional several criminal charges under additional military codes. And this is serious. He faces the possibility of years in prison. I'll have more updates for you soon. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Flat out, this man is being, attacked. Look, this is extraordinary circumstances. So, if you're not following the Constitution, why should somebody be worried about the Uniform Code of Military Justice? I'm going to show you textbook cases how they're laying out the case against this war criminal that's the Secretary of Defense. His ass should be swinging. And listen, the rest of these people are no better. And so they're here to try to attack this active duty service member, which is bullshit. But remember, the military is one place where Trump has absolute authority. So, of course, he's going to be found guilty. There's no doubt in my military mind they're going to railroad the fuck out of him. They go, as long as Trump is in charge, he will sit in the cell rotting. And I think he's prepared for that. And so if that happens to him, we need to be motherfucking rallying. We need to turn up the fucking heat. because it's your time to fight for this democracy. This man is out there because he didn't believe we had enough time. He didn't think he could fucking ride out his last 3 years. That's why he's doing what he's doing. And I agree with him. We don't have fucking years while the autocracy is spinning up. These people do not give a fuck about the country. They damn sure don't care about the Constitution or the rule of law. And so, veteran sound off in this next clip. This clip is doing very well on IG. By the way, it's myself and another Major General speaking out against this administration, and really Pete Whiskey Leaks Hexseth. There are going to be more videos being released Friday. I'm going to duet them on all my accounts on IG, and let's amplify this message and get the word out. It's really time for the veteran community to step up and really active duty. If you're out there, you need to be ready, because do you still want to be led by these fucking morons to more body bags and more defeats while these people have no fucking clue what they're doing? Let's get it.
That man is a clear and present danger to the United States, period. He has done more harm to our nation's security than any Secretary of Defense that I am aware of through entirely our 250-year history. He is not competent. If you read his book where he says, we're going to give no quarter, we're not going to have any rules, those are the words of a potential war criminal. As a retired Major General with 36 years of experience, for me to say that of a Secretary of Defense, I never, ever thought I would ever say anything like that.
He's going to have to be held accountable. There's no honor in killing children. And he is a disgrace. Look at this disaster. You have Army soldiers coming home in body bags. Instead of just owning up to this, they lie.
That is not what makes America great. It's not. That's what makes tyrants and despots and dictators great.
Trump wants a military that's more loyal to him. And that's why Hexseth has this position. He wants the military that's more loyal to him than the Constitution. Hexseth, he has to go. Every day that he stays in there, you're gonna lose more soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Imagine a general having to listen to this fool talk. It makes my blood boil every time I hear it.
So I want to play the Major's full speech now that he gave on the steps of the Capitol before he went up and was arrested by Capitol Police. I'm gonna play his speech in full. It's important that you understand why this Major broke ranks. It was super fucking emotional. I was right there with Representative Al Green, and this is serious, man. This is serious. He's out here doing what needs to be done. He is holding true to the Constitution, which is something that we all took, and that shit is real. So the real fight is now. And anybody who took an oath of the Constitution, you should see obviously what's happening in the country, unless you're drinking the Kool-Aid. And so it's really everyone's duty to rally for our democracy now. And without any further ado, I'm going to play his full speech.
Out front now, Air Force Major Jason Watson. He was arrested last month on the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
And wait. This one, full speech.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Jessica Denson for making all of this possible. Thank you, Jessica. You are a hero and a patriot. Thank you to Representative Al Green for being here for this moment and lending his support. I'm grateful for the support of the many groups represented here that believe in the message I am here to share with you. I'm also grateful beyond words for my friends and allies that have helped me navigate my way to this point, investing much of their time, effort, and advice. A tremendous thank you to the defenders of our republic community, whether they are here now with me or out there doing the work needed to restore responsible governance to our country. Lastly, a heartfelt thank you to my parents, whom I love more than they know.
It's Mike Lindell's people.
For doing such an incredible job raising me to be the man I am today. My name is Jason Watson. I'm an active duty major in the United States Air Force. However, who I am is immaterial. In the grand scheme of things, I'm just a nobody. What matters far more than who I am is what I have to say and the price I'm willing to pay to say it. I, Jason Paul Watson, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. I first swore this oath over 20 years ago upon entering basic cadet training at the United States Air Force Academy in late June of 2005. I've repeated it many times over since then. The oath of office means everything to me. It is foundational to our system of governance in the United States. The oath ensures that officials of our government owe allegiance not to any individual or political party, but to our Constitution and the democratic republic it represents.
That part.
Our Constitution binds us all together as Americans. Like countless veterans before me and military members serving now, I've devoted my life in service to our democratic republic, always doing my best to honor my oath and protect America against foreign threats. But the greatest threat to our democratic republic is not a foreign one. It is us, we the people, not just the left or just the right or just the center, all of us together define who we are as Americans, and like it or not, we have all played a part, myself included, in getting ourselves into this mess we are all in.
He is absolutely fucking right. And listen, this major is out here in his dress blue uniform. It was a fucking 100 degrees out in that bitch. Okay? It was burning up, sweltering hot in that motherfucker, man. And he was standing 10 toes down, delivering this speech.
Back.
The burden of that culpability is much heavier for some amongst us than others. Undeniably, and for those with the lion's share of guilt, such as those currently running the executive branch of the government, the bill must come due. But all of us have a share. For the past 18 months, we the people have allowed the highest levels of the executive branch of the federal government to violate our Constitution and their oaths to it with impunity. When the President of the United States orders military action against foreign countries absent an emergency scenario where American interests are under imminent, dire threat, as was done with Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran, that's an unconstitutional usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause.
Facts.
These violations resulted in the deaths of 13 service members and injuries of hundreds more.
At least.
For this, the President and Vice President must be impeached, convicted, and removed.
Wow. Listen. Go.
When the President of the United States grants an unelected mega donor sweeping authority to shut down large swaths of our federal government, along with unrestricted access to our government databases, that's an unconstitutional circumvention of Congress's advise and consent authority under the Appointments Clause and Congress's power of the purse under the Appropriations Clause. These violations exposed every American's personal sensitive data to leaks and exploitation, illegally terminated tens of thousands of federal civil servants,
Hundreds of thousands.
and crippled support for Americans for medical care and disaster preparedness, and by far most tragically, resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of the world's most impoverished people with inhumanely abrupt cessation of U.S. aid. For this, the President and Vice President must be impeached, convicted, and removed. When the President of the United States directs the Department of Homeland Security to deny hundreds of people any due process before illegally detaining them and sending them to a foreign prison notorious for human rights abuses, that's a violation of our Fifth and Eighth Amendment rights. Most people sent to CCOT never committed any violent crimes in their entire lives.
Facts.
But are being defamed as violent criminals to this day as a pretext for the torture they suffered in El Salvador, paid for with U.S. taxpayer dollars.
Exactly.
For this, the president and vice president must be impeached, convicted, and removed.
What's up?
When the president of the United States sponsors violence on the American people, engaged in their constitutional right to peacefully assemble and protest, that's a violation of our First Amendment rights. Pastors praying for DHS agents violently attacked without provocation, a legal observer losing an eye after being shot with a non-lethal by an ICE agent, a woman attempting to follow chaotic and contradictory DHS agent instructions fatally gunned down, a subdued man that posed no threat fatally shot after having his unbrandished firearm removed, with statements by high-ranking cabinet members also violating our Second Amendment rights. For this, the president and vice president must be impeached, convicted, and removed. There are innumerable more impeachable offenses that I could cover.
Facts.
Denying congressional oversight of immigrant detention centers that look increasingly like CCOT. Suing institutions like media, colleges, and law firms for billions of dollars while abusing the authorities of the executive branch agencies to extort settlements. Allowing a mega donor to advertise products on the White House front lawn. Trading pardons for donations. Levying illegal tariffs. Weaponizing the Department of Justice against political adversaries while ignoring crimes of supporters and enablers. Attempting to reverse birthright citizenship through executive order. For all of these high crimes and misdemeanors, the president and vice president must be impeached, convicted, and removed.
What's up?
The constitutional impeachment process is our best pathway to restore fidelity to our Constitution. This is why I'm here, standing in solidarity with Representative Green. I'm not here because I'm a Democrat or because I share his policy positions. I'm not a Democrat and know next to nothing about his policies. I'm here with him because Representative Green is the only member of Congress that has demonstrated the courage and conviction to invoke Rule 9 and force a vote on articles of impeachment.
Now, people who are just coming in, this is Major Jason Watson. He is the active duty Air Force member who is currently brought up on fucking 10 different charges under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. But he did his fucking part out here. And you can see in this speech, he laying out a textbook fucking case against the corruption and the crimes in this administration. And it's extraordinary that, you know, the active duty forces are breaking fucking ranks because he knows what the danger he's in right now by breaking ranks. But this is where the fuck we are, man. This is where we are as a country. Somebody has to still hold fast to the Constitution.
If Congress followed his example, we could remove the entire Trump administration. But Congress remains unconvinced of the urgency and necessity for them to honor their oaths. So we must persuade them with our unrelenting, uncompromising civil resistance. I am calling on average Americans everywhere to peacefully exercise your First Amendment rights en masse every day until this administration is removed and our democratic republic is restored. I believe in America. I believe in us. If just a nobody like me can take a stand for our Constitution and our democratic republic, then you can too. I hope you will join me in the defense of our republic. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just so y'all understand, right? This is where we are as a country, where you have a field grade officer from the United States Air Force breaking ranks. We all warned what it would mean to put Trump back in charge. And so a lot of people are wondering why more people are not joining him, because look what they're doing to him. This man is losing his entire career. 17 years of honorable Air Force duty will be wiped away. They're charging him with crazy ass, like I said, Article 88. Article 88, which is like fucking being hostile towards government officials, right? They're really trying to max his ass out. So, and they're going to get it because remember, you do not have your full amendment rights as a service member. The shit is truncated. That's how it goes. So he is under the authority of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And all he needs is corrupt ass commanders who are more loyal to Trump. And they're going to say, hey, this is the reason why they're going to hang him out to dry. And they're going to hang him out to dry. They hit him with Article 92, conduct unbecoming of an officer, disobey of lawful orders, all of this shit. All of his shit's cut off, man. If he gets dishonorably discharged, then everything is up in smoke. He's blacklisted from the federal government. Just so you understand what they're doing to this dude. And meanwhile, they're pardoning January 6th fucking criminals and wiping their fucking records clean. The leader of the fucking oath breakers. They erase all of his fucking crimes. So he has no crimes now after being convicted of seditious conspiracy. Just so you understand what the fuck is going on, man. The criminals, we're living in the land of the fucking upside down, where criminals are hailed as heroes and heroes are being treated as criminals. And so it's up to all of us to step up and do what we have to do, man. We all have to step up against this shit and speak out because they can't fucking arrest everybody. And there is nothing wrong with that man's speech. He even called for people being peaceful. And you know I'm well past that peace shit. It's time to match and to see these motherfucking energy, man. That's what time it is. But he laid out a textbook case of Trump's crimes. But don't worry, guys. We got a lot more of that shit coming on. I'm about to play his part. Yeah, there's already a GoFundMe out there. So there's already a GoFundMe out there for him. And go ahead and just look it up and you can get it. Send that cash to him. He gonna need it. He gonna need every dime, guys, because he is gonna be stripped of everything. They gonna strip him of his rank. They gonna strip him of his tenure, his retirement, benefits, all that shit. It's gonna be like he never fucking joined. Now, the only good news is if we get Trump out, we can restore that shit with the next president. The next president could go back and restore everything that he's lost. But it's gonna take us turning up the fucking heat on these demons. And so this is it. This is why we're here now. Let's get it. All right. Next portion I'm gonna play is from his speech with CNN. Now he was arrested shortly after the speech. Keep that in mind. When he went on CNN and told them what was going on.
Out front now, Air Force Major Jason Watson. He was arrested last month on the steps of the U.S. Capitol after calling for President Trump and Vice President Vance's impeachment and removal from office over the war in Iran and other issues. And tonight is his first television interview since that arrest. And Major Watson, obviously, you have done this after incredible consideration. You've been in the Air Force for 17 years. You're in the Air Force. And you know that by choosing to speak out as you did in uniform, calling for the commander-in-chief's impeachment and removal from office, that carries grave consequences, violates the laws governing the U.S. military. But you chose to do it, knowing all of that. Tell me why.
Well, I think the most important thing for all of us to keep in mind is what is happening with President Trump is not normal. He has failed us, and not only is he a failure as president, he is flagrantly violating the Constitution, breaking the law, engaged in rampant corruption, and is killing Americans. And that is unacceptable to me. And it should be unacceptable to all of us. I feel like, unfortunately, many of us have gotten used to this, and we've normalized to this conduct, and we think that there's nothing that we can do about it. And one of the reasons I chose to use the pseudonym of Just a Nobody was to underscore that you do not have to be somebody special to take action and reject this government. We can all do something about what's happening in our country. And I want to just inspire people and bring the conversation to impeach, convict, remove. And there are organizations out there that I joined with Removal Coalition with Jessica Denson and Citizens Impeachment with Kira Havens and John Boniface's Free Speech for People that are not getting enough attention. And I want to try to spotlight them as much as I can and to inspire Americans to act, because I believe we can defeat this government if we just take a stand.
So, when you talk about that desire to inspire, you're not, of course, a somebody. You are a somebody, right? You're not an anybody. You are a somebody, right? You're a sitting major and in the Air Force. After your arrest, the military had placed you under a gag order. They restricted your movements. You're under investigation as you and I speak, and obviously the consequences you could face for speaking out because you are who you are include court-martial, removal from the Air Force, loss of pay and benefits. I mean, you could even go to prison. And you knew all of that, right? You knew all of that when you made this decision to try to inspire others. How did you go through the thought process that made you willing to pay the price that this may cost?
Nothing that is worth doing is something that you can do for free. Everything that is worthwhile is going to cost something. It's going to be hard. It's going to require sacrifice. And we are in an incredibly challenging time. And in order for us to get out of this situation, we all have to have courage. So for me to take action, if I don't sacrifice something, if I don't give something up, then it's just words. And words are easy.
Hold on, I got some naysayers in my comment section over here. Let me show you something. First of all, we know about the uniform violations. We talked about that in the beginning. Who gives a flying fuck about the Uniform Code of Military Justice? The President of the United States of America is violating the fucking Constitution. So is the fucking Supreme Court. So is corrupt ass Congress. So we're well past all of this shit. Motherfucker that stole damn near $3 billion. Well, you want to see it again? Let's go. Well, I don't want to fuck up the video. But after this video, I'll go back and show you the live stream footage of it. So that's the thing. And so one thing that the right wing love to say is stolen valor. He's one of yours. This guy is more right wing leaning. And the last video I'm going to show y'all tonight is from a right wing organization that's eating fucking Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth up. So this is a bipartisan issue. Pete Hexseth is a motherfucking war criminal. A Fox News host who has more experience raping women than he does leading soldiers. And that's why we're getting our ass kicked by Iran, a war to fucking hell and to nowhere. There was no reason to kick off this fucking war. But because you got some fat ass, shitty diaper convict and rapist that y'all made president again, who can't control his own bowel movement, he took us to war because Benjamin Netanyahu was getting better coverage on Fox News at 3 in the morning. That's why we went to this war. And that's why you see all the shit and the fallout of it, because it's so badly executed. Because once again, it's not just the fucking racism and corruption, it's the sheer fucking incompetence of it all. Let's get it.
To ignore. So if I don't put myself out there in a big way, then it's just noise. And there's plenty of noise that we're all listening to every day. There's plenty of people telling us the obvious truth, but there's no cost being paid. And there's a lot of ways to view that as cynically or skeptically or whatever the case may be, and just dismiss it and say, okay, you're not making any difference. But we just have to be willing to accept that we can change what is happening in our country if we're just willing to pay a price for it. So all that I could do was ask myself, what's the highest price that I'm willing to pay? And this is what I ultimately came up with. And it is absolutely motivated by my oath to the Constitution. But any American can make this choice. Any American can say, this government is intolerable and I want a better future for my children, and I want to hand them a better country than I inherited. And that is ultimately a huge inspiration for me as well.
You hear that? That is what what fucking selfless service looks like. It's the literal fucking epitome of selfless service. He is sacrificing his fucking career to stand on the right side of history. And it's really a damn shame that so many people drop the ball to the point now where active duty officers have to break ranks to do this shit. So it is serious. He has been charged under the Uniform Code of Military Justice with 10 charges. And Article 88 has not been used since fucking 1951. So it's deadly serious for him. And it should be deadly serious for anybody who ever took an oath to this country and anybody who want a better future. We are sliding fast towards autocracy, period. This is Major Watson from the Air Force. Air Force Major who's been charged, playing a bit of his CNN interview right now, and then we'll go into more stuff, laying out a textbook case about how WikiLeaks is fucking guilty of war crimes, guys. Let's get it.
In the Constitution, you mentioned corruption, and I know you have specific reasons for why you feel this is necessary and why the president should be removed from office. It is obviously, it includes the war in Iran, but it is much more than that. But it is in the context of the war in Iran at this moment, right, that you are choosing to do this. What is it about the war and this commander-in-chief, President Trump's handling of it, that made you do this at this moment?
So I know that there are some folks probably in your audience that have seen my interview with Jessica Denson. I talk about this a little bit. And it's important to just underscore that what is happening with the Iran war is very predictable strategically. And a lot of much smarter people than me knew that it would have gone pretty poorly. Like the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, that's known. And a lot of the consequences that we're seeing, there was probably advice that was being given to the President of the United States saying, this is what's going to happen if you do this. And he chose to do it anyways. And that's an important context to keep in mind with all of this. But at the end of the day, it's also more important to remember that what he did was unconstitutional. It was an aggressive war of choice that if we saw another country do that, we would probably look to our allies and say, what are we going to do about this? And you could make the comparison with what happened in Ukraine. That was an aggressive war of choice. And now we as a country, America, is choosing to do that with Iran.
All right, Major Jason Watson, I appreciate your time very much, and I thank you for speaking out. Of course, you may say it's a nobody, but it certainly is a somebody and something that is going to matter for a lot of people. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time in speaking to us tonight.
Thank you for having me on.
And I want to bring in Ryan Goodman now, our Outfront legal analyst, former special counsel at the Defense Department. So, Ryan, you know, he's obviously speaking out. What he did was an incredibly unusual thing, to say the least, right? To go in his uniform to the steps of the U.S. Capitol and to say this and to do this. How rare is it for an active duty officer like Major Watson, 17 years in the Air Force, to do something like this?
It's extremely rare for an active military officer to speak out against a president or a president's policies. I can only think of two examples in modern history. When President Clinton was being impeached for the Monica Lewinsky affair, there was chatter, online chatter by some active military officers. They were immediately warned by their military leadership to cut it out or they could face court-martial. That's one. And then a second one is Vietnam War. There was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He had a poster that said, end Johnson's fascist aggression in Vietnam. He was court-martialed successfully. And those are the two examples I can come up with of active duty military officers speaking out against a sitting president.
Incredibly rare. Now, you mentioned that
Hold on. Some little demon is crying over here. Listen, man, I know y'all love Fox fake ass news, OAN and Newsmax. I don't fuck with CNN either because I think they cater too much to you fucking Nazis. But you cannot dispute anything that's happening right now. You cannot dispute shit what they're saying. So come on up in here and let us know. Lay out your case on how Pete WikiLeaks has done such a great job and how well the fucking war in Iran is going. Come make your case, because you can't. Let's get it.
Lieutenant, you said second lieutenant was
second lieutenant.
Okay, was court-martialed. Major Watson could be court-martialed. He clearly is well aware of that. He did this knowing that could be the case. He could lose his pay, his benefits. He loses his job. 17 years, his life, his personal definition. He could go to military prison. All of those things. What implications does that have for others in the military? Right, in a moment where there has been discussion about about carrying out lawful orders, or how does one draw a line of what destroying a civilization is, for example, as the president has threatened to Iran?
So I think that's exactly what Major Watson's trying to accomplish and is accomplishing, because he is risking a lot by doing this. There's every likelihood that the U.S. military could charge him in a court-martial. I can think of 4 different charges they could bring if they want to. One of those is contemptuous statements against the president. That's what happened in the Vietnam War with that particular individual. There are others. Failure to follow orders and regulations, such as thou shalt not speak at a political gathering. He did that. Thou shalt not attend a political gathering in your uniform. He did that. So it is a part of the problem here for the military, the U.S. military, is that if they don't do something, then what will others think about doing as well? So they might want to send a message. That message, they might decide, is best sent by just discharging him with other than honorable discharge, so that he leaves the military and he pays all these other prices, that he maybe loses his pension and things like that. And that sends a very significant signal to officers and the like, but it doesn't give him a further platform to be speaking about these issues, and that's what they might decide to do.
Right. And of course, then there's what the uniformed officers might choose and think is the right thing to do, and then what the political head of the Department of Defense or the White House might think, and we will see. All right, Brian Goodman, thank you very much.
Okay, there you go right there, right? Motherfucker that stole damn near $3 billion of taxpayer money. So there's a live stream of it again, $3 billion once again. And so this is where we are as in the country. Open fucking corruption. And honestly, good order and discipline has been thrown out in the military. You got motherfuckers flying Apaches over Kid Rock House. I don't want to hear shit, man. Motherfuckers doing illegal ass air shows over DC. Blowing up all them crazy ass fireworks, fucking up the smog and quality. They don't listen. Good order and discipline been out the military because they pardoned war criminals. He pardoned fucking Blackwater. All of that shit his first time. And he pardoned even more people. Pardoned fucking Kushner daddy. And then brung his ass on and made him a damn secretary. Or ambassador to France. So miss me with the bullshit outrage. It's a fucking criminal. You got a criminal as a commander-in-chief. And you wonder why you got a motherfucking secretary of war crimes. That's why we here. So the only betas are you bitches on the right side. Because ain't shit alpha about you. Alpha men follow the fucking Constitution. And since y'all motherfuckers can't read no goddamn way, and most of y'all didn't fucking serve, that's why you're in there in the comment section talking shit, because you could not walk the walk I walk. Period. Most of y'all talking that shit, little dick demons, you could not fucking go out here. Bitch, I deployed 5 times. Motherfucking 5 times. I didn't see you here. I didn't see you do none of that shit. When it's time to fucking suit up and do real patriot shit, you bitches are quiet. You quiet now. You could take your ass and go suit up and go die for Israel. Ain't nobody stopping your ass. Get your ass out there and go get on that aircraft carrier and go sit your ass out at sea for over 160 days. Get the fuck out of here, man. Nobody gives a fuck about weak ass beta males talking shit in my comment section because you could not do that shit. You could not walk that walk. Period. You could not walk that walk. And you weak. And you motherfuckers here, you love the Confederacy. Right? You love the fucking Confederacy. And we gonna kick your ass again because it's Union Gang all day. But the walls are closing in on Whiskey Leaks. So as much as people talking shit about Pete Hexseth, listen, his ass is getting lined up right now. So the blowback is real. It turns out you got soldiers that came from over there who got attacked. We saw how weak the fucking defenses was. Motherfucking soldiers come back in body bags in the first hours of the war because they don't know what the fuck they doing. Period. It is what it is. Listen, man, I'm telling you straight up. I don't give a fuck, man. That means I got more experience than you. Right? If I deployed fucking 5 times and you couldn't put a uniform on, I know more about combat than you did. That's just the facts. So cry harder about that shit. And while y'all talking about the queer community, y'all love that dick. Let me present Lindsey Graham, who got his asshole ripped open bigger than Texas. Every twink in fucking DC was dicking him down. He was a power bottom for Trump. So you ain't nothing but a bunch of homophobic hypocrites. You crashed Grindr during the RNC. I had to go look up what Grindr was. A homosexual dating site, a hookup site. And y'all motherfuckers stayed up in there because you love the dick. Right? You fucking hypocrites. Don't be no hypocrite, man. There ain't nothing wrong with being queer. But the problem is Lindsey Graham was a fucking hypocrite. He was a fucking enemy to the queer community. Period. Now let's get back in here about this war criminal.
Hexseth was in Iowa in his quote-unquote personal capacity. Of course, it is a fair question to ask why there's time now for things in a personal capacity, given what's going on with, obviously, the carriers.
This motherfucker out here doing rallies. As the Secretary of Defense, he is going to political rallies. That is breaking the Uniform Code of Military Justice right there. Right? That is breaking the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So cry harder. Cry harder. He's a motherfucking war criminal. I said what I said. And you can stick around because I'm not the only one saying it. So your right-wing people, your border watch people, they got a whole documentary right here eating his ass up. But listen, I'm going to let you hear more people who are more qualified than I am to speak out on it. But it's a fact. It's a war crime. Right? Attacking innocent fishermen, war crime. Sinking a motherfucking ceremonial ship with attack subs, war crime. Killing civilians and bombing school children, war crime. Blowing up a fucking boat after you see they clinging for life on a secondary strike. Textbook fucking war crime outlawed in the fucking land of law warfare. Period. So it is what it is. Let's get it. And I hear y'all crying in my comment section. You can cry harder about that shit.
And the fact that the United States is in the midst of the Iran war. Out front now, Democratic Congressman Jason Crow, who's on the Intelligence and Armed Services Committee, also a former Army Ranger who served 3.
Hey, dumbass. I'm called multi-streaming. I understand in your little area over there on YouTube, motherfucker, I'm streaming to multiple streams right now. I got 278 followers right now in my live stream, which is probably more than people you got, anything you did in your life. I'm multi-streaming right now. I know your dumb ass can't understand that because you slow as fuck, but that's all right, man. Hey, catch up, dumbass, catch up. It's called multi-streaming. So I'm on multiple motherfucking platforms because y'all love to whine and cry and try to silence the left and anybody you think that's Antifa and BLM. We don't give a fuck. Cry harder about that shit.
Tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, Congressman Crow, what do you see in this? The defense secretary is in Iowa campaigning for a Republican congressman.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm pro-communist. Now what? Hey, long live communism and socialism. And you ain't gonna do a goddamn thing about it. I'm gonna be out there with that flag. I'm gonna be out there back in DC. If you want it, you bring that Confederate flag. And I'll bring my fuck Trump flag. And we can play capture the flag. Okay? Y'all not gonna do nothing because you what? Pussy. We've been knowing. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing, man. Go cry harder about that shit.
Okay, right now, in the context of his job?
Why should we be surprised that a grossly incompetent and corrupt TV personality with zero experience running a major national security agency, let alone our Department of Defense, is failing to do the job? There are 100+ other places around the world where Pete Hexseth needs to be, managing wars, managing conflicts, checking on the health and welfare of our troops instead of campaigning in Iowa. But none of us should be surprised because this man was actually hired to play the Department of Defense secretary on TV and not be one.
So you mentioned the strain. Hexseth's decision to be in Iowa comes in the context of that tremendous strain. A guided missile destroyer recently lost power for 4 days in the South China Sea. That left the crew in blistering heat without air conditioning, working toilets, or kitchen services. That power was gone, my understanding is, for 4 days. And then, of course, there's the USS Abraham Lincoln crew, 5,000 on board over these past months at various times, facing food shortages, shortage of basic hygiene needs, and obviously a deep morale issues and mental health crisis for some. And multiple service members have reportedly gone overboard. These things are very disturbing. The military is dealing also, of course, as you know, with a dangerously low level of key munitions that it needs to defend itself.
And you want to know why we're dealing with this munition shortage? Because that stupid ass dude think he's some kind of super soldier, right? He think he can inject himself with fucking testosterone and turn into fucking Captain America. His stupid ass thought that we could go bomb 1,000 points in fucking Iran, and all of a sudden the Iranians go throw down their damn weapons and say, "Oh my God, we've never seen this type of air power," because Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth is a motherfucking moron, a Fox News host who has no experience to be Secretary of Defense. This is what happens when you replace black 4-star generals with little dick demons from Fox News who got more experience raping women than they do leading soldiers. That's why you're in the situation that you're in right now. Period.
Missile defense systems in the Middle East, many of them, all but one of Thad's taken.
Hold on. Tommy's like, we blew the shit out of Iran. Okay. So if you blew the shit out of Iran, what happened to the stealth fighter getting shot down? First time a fucking F-35 got shot down. That shit didn't happen in the war on terror. Old George Bush and everybody else. Nobody went through that type of humiliating defeat. Fucking A-10s shot down, all kind of shit shot down. Trillions of dollars of damage. Whole base is blown the fuck up. I thought y'all bombed the shit out of Iran and they all quit. Because y'all motherfuckers are stupid. And don't get mad at me cussing you bitches out because you love that shit. Trump grabbed him by the pussy and you say it's locker room talk. So don't get mad. I love cussing motherfuckers out. Period. I got a viral ass video right now. 3 million in climbing. Cussing out some dumbass MAGAs who was brainwashed their children and was mad because I had a fuck Elon flag. If you don't like my language, cry harder about that shit. I'm going to use my First Amendment to give y'all exactly what you deserve. You think we going to be polite with you fucking, you shit stains? Right? Most of you motherfuckers are brainwashed, you racist, and you still there for the Confederacy. You my mortal fucking enemy. And you gonna be treated that way. Shit. It's forever fuck Trump. And any demon that's still fucking with that criminal. And and that's a word, and remember, boys and girls, the only good Nazi is a dead motherfucking Nazi. That's a message from your Antifa field commander. You can go tell cross-eyed ass Cash Patel I said fuck him too. Cause I'll put the keyboard lock on this shit and shut him down. Because you got fucking morons running the federal government. Fucking morons. That's why our allies and our adversaries are smarter than us and better than us right now. That's the price you pay for being racist as fuck. That's the price you pay for being a fucking misogynist and homophobic and all of that shit, even though you love the dick. Let's get it.
In the early days of this war. So from where you sit, right, when you're on the committees that you're on, are you hearing about all these things? Are you even getting the information you need to get about what's really going on, what the real situation is?
Well, we're absolutely hearing about it, Aaron, but we're not getting it from the Department of Defense because this administration has stonewalled and cut off oversight. They've stonewalled and cut off media. They've kicked media and most journalists out of the Department of Defense because they don't want people to know what's actually happening. You know, when I started my career in public service as a paratrooper and Army Ranger, I did 3 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And the fundamental basis of military leadership is you suffer with your troops, you work with your troops, you never ask them to do anything that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. And yet here we have Pete Hexseth, who spends his time cutting performative workout videos, who spends his time building a makeup room and TV studio in the Pentagon, instead of being out there checking on the health and welfare of our men and women who in the case of the Abraham Lincoln, are now on station almost twice as long as they're supposed to be, and they're suffering the consequences. It is appalling, and every American should be deeply disturbed by this.
Well, the longest deployment for a carrier in history. I want to ask you about another piece of news here. We're just breaking out front right now, Congressman, and this is that Air Force Major Jason Watson. I don't know if the name rings a bell, but he was the man who was arrested last month because he called for President Trump's impeachment on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Right? He was in his uniform, 17 years in the Air Force. He was detained today. Detained by the military. So we have just learned this, Congressman, and it came just hours after he came on this show and told us why he was speaking out at great personal risk, right? He knew the risk he was taking, and here's what he said.
If I don't sacrifice something, if I don't give something up, then it's just words, and words are easy to ignore. So if I don't put myself out there in a big way, then it's just noise. And there's plenty of noise that we're all listening to every day.
Hold on, I got you right here, man. So let me tell you something, man. First of all, you have to learn from your battles. That's why information is out there. The reason why they're covering up shit because they got people in body bags and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. We did not get people smoked this quickly in the war on terror because a Fox News host don't know what the fuck he's doing. He is unqualified. It is a general position. A 4-star general had that shit. This weekend warrior couldn't even get fucking the rank of light colonel. So once again, you got unqualified white man in power. And you see how the military is suffering. They can't even do basic shit. You can't even resupply fucking ships. We've been doing this shit. We was in active war for 20 years. You can't do basic shit because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He is a whole ass clown. And his only attribute is to plant his lips on Trump's shitty diaper every day. That's it. So it is what it is. And you got to deal with that shit, Maga.
So he spoke out last night, and we understand he's been detained today. Do you know anything about it, and what's your reaction to this?
I don't know about this news. I'm just hearing it for the first time. The political persecution of this administration against folks like me, against Mark Kelly. You know, I was part of that group of service members, as you indicated earlier in your show, who filmed that video that led to
Pete is a two-tour Afghanistan veteran. Who gives a fuck he did it part-time? And he raped a woman. He raped a woman and gave her a venereal disease. So if you think because you took your ass to Afghanistan twice, now all of a sudden, now you can run the Secretary of Defense, I can do the shit better. Period. I did that shit for 22 years, 11 months and 4 days. Far longer than this fucking Fox News host. But that's the problem. Weak-ass white men is the problem in America. And y'all always have been. That's why y'all crying the hardest in my comment section. Who got the most number of rapes? Weak-ass demons like this guy. Most school shooters. Weak-ass demons like that guy. Most serial killers. Right? Most thieves. So we've been knowing. But yet you'll come on here and talk about black on black crime and ghettos and all of that. Ain't nobody doing more killing than white people. No matter how much lies they tell you on Fox fake ass news and the immigrants coming over here, we know who poisoned the blood. Demons are. Demons are poisoning the blood of this country because you got motherfucking pedophiles running the country. That's why you don't want to talk about the Epstein files because them bitches are in there. Donald Trump is named more in the Epstein files than Jesus Christ and Satan combined in the Bible. So y'all want to be fake ass Christians. And you still will bend the knee for his ass. Because you are fucking betas. You are betas.
Attempts to indict us and throw us in prison simply for reiterating what the Uniform Code of Military Justice requires of our service members. This administration, this president, to be more specific, is willing to use every lever of the government, taxpayer funded, to persecute political opponents and go after people who disagree with him. And that also should disturb every American. He does not want the truth to get out. He does not want people to learn about his corruption. He does not want people asking questions. He wants blind loyalty and only blind loyalty. And if people step up and ask questions and push back, he is willing to use our government, not his, our government, to try to crush them. And that is exactly why we're going to retake power in November and push back against all of it.
Flat out. And listen, I want y'all to stay tuned, MAGA. Stay tuned. Listen, man, you can go watch my viral videos, right? I've been doing this shit for 22 years, 1 month, and 4 days. I retired under the best president in history, Barack Hussein Obama. Donald Trump could never. Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth could never see me. Y'all can cry hard about it. I mean, motherfuckers, you can go look at the fucking coins behind you. You ain't buying them bitches nowhere. Them shits are presented by generals. Them coins you see behind you is presented for fucking excellence. So it is what it is. But hey, you think I'm sitting here to tell you my rundown, and I guess maybe you might want to see my D214? That shit ain't gonna never happen. Period. Because you put weak ass white boys in charge of the country. Now you're wondering why the country's doing so fucking poorly. It is what it is, man. I'm here representing Veterans Against Trump. Right here, like I said on that shirt. See that shit right there? You can get that shit at uniongang.store. Period. Real veterans are going to stand for the Constitution. And Donald Trump has never been anything but himself. He was a sorry shit stain who led an insurrection in 4K. And all of their ass should have been flogged after that insurrection. They should have been sitting there. Every person that participated, every person that gave them political cover, ass should have been in Guantanamo Bay. So nobody give a fuck about the so-called party of law and order when you pardon 1,600 criminals. It is what it is. But don't worry about it, man. I'm going to let you hear from some right-wing sources, right? The fucking, this border watch shit. Watch how they break down this case for your Secretary of War Crimes. So you must have missed it. Did you miss the part where other generals, hold on. I guess maybe y'all late coming. Let me run that shit back for you.
The first active duty U.S. service presidents and votes.
That man is a...
I'll have more updates for you soon.
So you about to hear from a major general, a motherfucking Green Beret. So everything you say that you love about the military, you got a major general speaking.
Along for all the news you need to know about.
That man is a clear and present danger to the United States. Period. He has done more harm to our nation's security than any Secretary of Defense that I am aware of through entirely our 250-year history. He is not competent. If you read his book where he says, we're going to give no quarter, we're not going to have any rules, those are the words of a potential war criminal. As a retired major general with 36 years of experience, for me to say that of a Secretary of Defense, I never, ever thought I would ever say anything like that.
He's going to have to be held accountable. There's no honor in killing children. And he is a disgrace. Look at this disaster. You have Army soldiers coming home in body bags. Instead of just owning up to this, they lie.
That is not what makes America great. It's not. That's what makes tyrants and despots and dictators great.
Trump wants a military that's more loyal to him. And that's why Hexseth has this position. He wants the military that's more loyal to him than the Constitution. Hexseth, he has to go. Every day that he stays in there, you're gonna lose more soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Imagine a general having to listen to this fool talk. It makes my blood boil every time I hear it.
So, but don't worry, man. We're gonna let some of your right-wing counterparts cook his ass up. Because this is a video I want to show y'all tonight, man. That's coming from a group called Border Cop Watch. So it sounds pretty right-wing, but watch how Pete WikiLeaks get exposed.
Congressman Pat Ryan stared directly into the eyes of Secretary of Defense Pete Hexseth, the ghosts of 6 dead American soldiers standing in the heavy silence between them, and demanded his immediate resignation. This was not a moment of manufactured political theater. It was a searing, unavoidable collision between the polished rhetoric of a Washington hearing room and the brutal, unforgiving reality of a combat zone. The air in the chamber was thick with tension, every camera focused, every microphone capturing a confrontation that stripped away the bureaucratic shielding of the Pentagon. On one side sat a combat veteran with 2 Bronze Stars, a man who intimately understood the weight of life and death decisions made in the chaotic theater of war. On the other side sat a Secretary of Defense who had spent years.
Hey, hold on. Let me highlight one of these demons things over here talking about that bullshit. Hey, before we get into that, yes, the blacked out flag stands for no quarter given. It was first used by the Confederacy. I have several blacked out flags because I believe in matching their seat and their energy. So when Biden won, many people started flying the blacked out flag. But the only flag the Confederacy should fly is a white flag of surrender because the Union gang kicked their ass. Now, of course, the beta males in my comment section, they want to say, well, the general got his rank during Obama and Biden. That's not how that shit worked, dumbass. Right? So clearly, you don't know what it takes to become an airborne ranger. Sit your ass down somewhere, man. Because that's how you think. You so full of Fox fake ass news, OAN and Newsmax, you think everything is about tribalism. Motherfucker, you cannot see the rank of fucking Major General. Most officers are not ever seeing that rank. Only the fucking few get to that damn high. And like I said, most of these men took us to war and back. And that's why you got a Fox News host who is firing all these generals to cover up his own fucking incompetence. Now let's get it.
Years cultivating a television persona built on the aesthetics of toughness, now fiercely attempting to dodge the devastating human cost of his own strategic failure.
Recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Head wounds, heavy bleeding, and then just shrapnel all over. So folks are bleeding from their abdomen, bleeding from arms, bleeding from legs. Secretary Hexseth, do you know who said that?
I'm not sure I do.
It was one of our soldiers describing the devastating Iranian drone strike at Port Shuaibah, March 1st in Kuwait. As you know, 6 of our soldiers killed, over 30 wounded. Secretary, do you know the range of the Shahed 136 one-way attack drone, approximately?
It depends on the variant, but it's got serious distance.
Several hundred miles. Mm-hmm. Do you know how far Port Shuaibah is from Iran?
There's a reason why we took
it's
extreme measures of force protection because we understood the proximity challenges.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to reclaim my time. It's well under 100 miles. Before the war started, there was clear intelligence that Shuaibah was high on Iran's target list. Internal analysis had said the site was indefensible from aerial attack and should not be used. Yet you sent our soldiers from the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway. Is that true or false? True or false? Straightforward question.
Are you going to give me a chance to answer or just play gotcha?
Did you send them there or not?
We took proactive measures from the beginning to ensure force protection and defensive posture were maximized across the theater.
Let's talk about what defenses they had. Prior to the attack, officers on the ground knew our troops were vulnerable. In fact, they requested additional force protection. Did they receive it?
Wherever humanly possible, force protection and counter UAS was always made available.
They did not. In fact, when asked to describe the base's defense, one survivor who's come forward from the unit said, quote, I would put it in the none category. From a drone defense capability, none. So let's be clear, no counter drone capabilities, no counter rocket systems, no counter mortar or counter artillery, not even the basic overhead protection that you and I had 20 years ago in Iraq. And now 6 of our soldiers.
To understand the magnitude.
Hold on. See how they try to blame? See how these fucking demons try to blame the soldiers? They leak their own location. Let me tell you something, man. Basic hardened bunkers. We've known about that shit since Vietnam. Stupid motherfuckers. We've known how to deal with counter battery fire since Vietnam. So the fact that Pete Whiskey Leaks Hexseth had these motherfucking kids and fucking shacks and little portable trailers show you he don't know what the fuck he doing. and he too stupid to talk to the generals. So instead of talking down to him, he should have took some fucking generals under his wing so they could fucking teach his ass how to at least fake the funk. That's the problem. Soldiers are in body bags because Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth with his white supremacist ass don't know what the fuck he doing. He is unqualified to be Secretary of Defense. Always has been. And that's why he's so fucking terrible at it. That's why you got people getting their ass kicked in Iran right now. Gas prices high. Food high. Strait of Hormuz fucked up. Ain't gonna never be right again. All this shit, all this bombing, you didn't stop shit. All they did was expose America's weaknesses. When you fire highly qualified generals and put weak-ass white boys in there who don't know what the fuck they're doing, not qualified, you get people in body bags. You get that. So you can cry harder about that shit. I do not care. Once again, if y'all bitches was winning, you would be doing victory laps over on fucking Newsmax. But you in my motherfucking live right now. Because you know and I know that your bitch ass couldn't see me militarily. Right? You could not. We can go rank for rank right now. We can go deployment for deployment. Any of you want to come in here and fucking compare campaign medals, let's do that shit. In the live. You go ahead and put your shit up. I'll put my shit up right now. Because you are full of shit. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You think playing Call of Duty is the same as fucking ranking up in the real world. You could never fucking see me. Let's just be clear about that shit. It's forever fuck Trump with his draft dodging ass who talks shit about John McCain. Nobody should have been fucking with him then. A draft dodging motherfucker who got more experience raping children and women. And he's a fucking felon. And you put his fat ass back in the fucking presidential podium. And you wonder why America doing so poorly. Man, let's get it.
Of this confrontation, we have to look past the podiums and the suits and travel to a vulnerable stretch of land in Kuwait known as Port Shuwaik. This was the staging ground for a disaster that was entirely predictable and, according to the intelligence, entirely preventable. Before the commencement of hostilities, before the war even officially began, the United States military possessed clear, unequivocal intelligence indicating that this specific port was perched high on Iran's target list. Internal military analyses had already been conducted and the conclusions were damning. The site was classified as completely indefensible from aerial attack. The recommendation was stark and unambiguous: it should not be used. Yet despite these blaring red flags, despite the tactical assessment's warning of imminent peril, the order was given.
Right? Imagine sending soldiers into that shit. It said it was indefensible. Indefensible, man. No hardened bunkers. No Patriot sites. No fucking dome. None of that shit. You sent these dudes to die in a fucking trailer for Israel. Somebody come up here from the right wing and tell me, how does a war in Iran make America stronger? And go. How does a war in Iran help America's military strategic interests? How? How does a war in Iran help America's military interests? No. Because it doesn't. Somebody said no nukes. Hey, let me help you out, guys. Let me help you out. My man, hey, he tried. He tried. So Barack Obama had a far better agreement. Right? He had an agreement. They wasn't enriching their nukes. Trump tore it up because he a racist. And it never got better. It only got worse. And so even by your own no nuke logic, he bombed the fuck out of them last year. Remember they sent the B-2s over there? They said that obliterated their shit. So if they obliterated then, why the fuck are you trying to go to war now? Because Trump does not know what the fuck he's doing. Period. And you cannot stop Iran from getting a nuke. So it's never about that anyway. You bomb children, you suck fucking, you use attack subs on fucking defenseless ceremonial ships. You bomb people in the sea because you are a war criminal. You need a drink or something? Yeah, but pour my cup though, please. Yeah, I'll take it. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's good. I'll take that. So that's it. Only a fool thought we could invade Iran. Only a fool, man. The Iran invasion, this outcome was totally fucking new. We knew already. Iran is not Iraq. It's 4 times the size of Iraq. Mountainous regions. You would need at least 500,000 troops to make a beachhead there. We've been doing it. So it is what it is. So let me help you out again, man. Iraq was a war of choice. Iraq was a war of choice. So you said Iran bombed children? Listen, man, America's supposed to have the gold standard for militaries. So if you try to tell me just because Iran did some shit, Israel, ain't nobody bombing more children than Israel. So y'all seem to be confused. I thought it was America first, but it sounds like Israel first. Nobody's killed more children than Benjamin Netanyahu. Just so you understand. And really, y'all don't give a fuck about children. The CIA has overthrown so many countries. I mean, we could have a whole separate live stream about the CIA. And you can go check some of my damn past work. Them demons have been doing hella dirt, including operating on U.S. soil. You can go research Operation Midnight fucking Climax. Let's get it.
The soldiers of the 103rd Sustainment Command were sent directly into the crosshairs. Port Shawaik sits a mere fraction of distance from hostile territory located.
Look at all them damn bombs getting blown up, right? Not one fucking bunker out there. Stupid asses, bro. And of course you didn't invade Iran because you can't invade Iran. Listen, America could not invade Iran if they wanted to. Let me just break this shit down to you for the motherfuckers who never put the uniform on, who don't understand how strategy works. America does not have the capability or manpower to invade Iran. You would have to have friendly countries that's neighboring Iran to mass 500,000 troops. Iran has 1.2 million soldiers in their axis of resistance, multiple redundant layers. They fought major wars against the Iraqis. So once again, you have no idea. You have no idea. It's all about white supremacy, morons. That's what it's about. And y'all fucking suck at it. But hey, you can look at more of your failures right here playing out in front of you.
Well under 100 miles from the Iranian border. In the world of modern warfare, where lethality is measured in seconds and miles, are devoured by advanced weaponry, placing troops at that proximity is a calculated gamble of the highest order.
You downplayed the attack. You said it was a squirter that squeaked through fortified defenses. But since then, thankfully, brave survivors have come forward to set the record straight. One of our surviving soldiers told CBS, quote, painting a picture that one squeaked through is a falsehood. Another said the unit was, quote, unprepared to provide any defense for itself. It was not a fortified position. Another survivor said the building's protection was about as weak as one gets. Secretary Hexseth, that is obviously in direct contradiction to what you said from the Pentagon podium the next day. So are you saying that these soldiers, our soldiers who survived this horrific attack, are lying?
What I'm saying is before the commencement of the conflict, we put in maximum defensive posture we could.
That's a direct contradiction.
We moved 70
what they said,
in this directing. Can I speak, or are you just going to monologue falsehoods all over the place?
It's not a falsehood.
We moved 7,500 troops off of the X based on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Reclaiming my time.
Because you yell doesn't make you right. Just because you yell doesn't make you right.
I'm reclaiming my time on behalf of these survivors. You just said what they said is a falsehood.
There's a much larger picture.
True?
There's a much larger picture at play here that included integrated air defenses, bunkers, moving people off the
why, Mr. Secretary,
to ensure that they were not part of the target. We moved those troops and all across the theater, thousands of troops off the X, off of their bases, because we knew what Iran was going to try to strike, and we knew there could be a tragic moment. There could be a tragic moment.
Listen, this dumb fuck, he leaked fucking the war plans. Remember when they was over there bragging about blowing up the Houthis and, killing innocent people and taking down whole buildings and shit. He leaked that shit before the attack happened on Signal because they're fucking morons. He should have been fired then. So every day that he stays in office, more people go quit the military, more people will get smoked out here in this worthless ass war. Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth is a motherfucking war criminal. Period. And when it's said and done, his ass is gonna be done up. Because he is a killer of fucking children. He is a murderer. And he has no idea what the fuck he's doing. And so once Trump get tired of his ass and they get too loud, he gonna throw him out there to the wolves. Because Trump don't give a fuck about nobody but himself. So you heard it here first. The Secretary of War Crimes' days are numbered.
Or something could get through. Of course, that's the consequence of conflict. And we remember those 6 every single day.
I want to finish.
But don't play games with.
I'm not playing games. I want to finish with one more quote from a survivor of the attack. And I put this on the record. Telling the truth is important. And we're not going to learn from these mistakes if we pretend these mistakes didn't happen. Secretary Hexseth, those soldiers told the truth. Those soldiers are braver than you are.
I commend.
They are asking for accountability. They deserve accountability. And I'm asking for the same, starting with you. And as I said a year ago, you need to resign immediately.
I commend those.
It placed.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Somebody says America just needs to acquire their nuclear material and leave. But how? How? How will America acquire Iran's nuclear material? How will America acquire Iran's nuclear material? That's what I thought. You have no, and now you go blame the soldiers. See, I tell you, this is why I don't fuck with the cult members. He says the soldiers lie. See how they go? See how they go, man? See, so when MAGA tells you it's all about the troops and respect the troops, they don't give a fuck about soldiers, man. They don't give a fuck about soldiers. It's a betrayal to send soldiers out here and your ass not willing to face the same danger. If he was that confident, his bitch ass should have been boots on the ground with them. But you know Trump ass, he a coward too. He was a bunker bitch during the fucking BLM uprisings. And guess what? He just did Operation Orange Chicken. An operation I ran away and had Air Force One be used as a decoy. Because I guess Iran still has attack capability. Who would have thunk it? These morons have no clue how to prosecute a fucking war. And once again, the no new war president got us into this fucking quagmire.
American service members easily within the striking range of the Shahed 136, a one-way attack drone designed for singular devastating purpose. The Shahed is not a precision surveillance tool. It is a flying bomb capable of traversing several hundred miles to deliver catastrophic explosive force. Sending troops into its shadow required an ironclad defensive strategy. But when officers on the ground, acutely aware of their crippling vulnerability, urgently requested additional force protection, they were met with a chilling reality. They did not receive the necessary defenses. When a survivor of the attack was later asked to describe the base's defensive capabilities, his answer was a crushing indictment of the leadership that put him there. He stated that he would put their defense in the none category. Let that sink in for a moment. There were no counter-drone capabilities. There were no counter-rocket systems. There was no counter-mortar or counter-artillery defense in place. The soldiers lacked even the most basic overhead protection, the kind of standard, rudimentary cover that American troops routinely relied upon 2 decades earlier in the deserts of Iraq.
Ooh, he broke that shit down. They didn't even have 18 inches of overhead cover with sandbags. Not even basic rudimentary bunkers. They had them out there in a fucking trailer, bro. In a trailer. Knowing damn well that you sitting right there in the enemy's defense, heart of their fucking attack capabilities. Because Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth was never qualified to be the commander or be fucking the Secretary of Defense. That's why he is the Secretary of War Crimes. Period. And this is a stunning indictment. You have wounded soldiers coming back. You left them out there to die for some bullshit while you sat your ass back here and ate fucking lobster last year. The fuck out of here, man. These fuckers are cowards, dude. And that's why Pete WikiLeaks is a disgrace. He's a fucking disgrace to anyone who ever held the office of Secretary of Defense. What a shit stain.
The position was utterly exposed, left naked beneath a hostile sky. And because of that gaping void in protection, 6 American soldiers are now dead, and over 30 others carry the physical and psychological scars of severe injuries. The aftermath of the strike was a scene of unimaginable chaos and carnage. Head wounds, heavy, uncontrollable bleeding, jagged shrapnel tearing through the air and embedding itself into the flesh of unsuspecting men and women. Soldiers lay bleeding from their abdomens, bleeding from their arms, bleeding from their legs, their lives forever altered in a fraction of a second. Army Major Stephen Ramsbottom was sitting at his desk within the makeshift workspace of this tactical post when the Iranian drone violently shattered his reality. The world went instantly black. He was hurled to the ground, a piece of lethal shrapnel lodged deeply into the back of his head. Yet amidst the smoke, the fire, and the overwhelming confusion, he and other rank-and-file troops stayed behind. They clawed through the rubble, pulling their wounded brothers and sisters from the burning wreckage, acting with a desperate heroism born of utter abandonment. But heroism on the ground was met with spin at the podium. The morning after the attack, with the blood of American soldiers barely dry and the smoke still rising from the ruins of Port Shawaik, Pete Hexseth stepped up to the microphones at the Pentagon and delivered his meticulously sanitized version of events. He boldly minimized the catastrophic breach, casually describing the deadly drone as a squirter, a stray projectile that had somehow managed to squeak its way through what he characterized as fortified defenses. It was a narrative designed to reassure the public, to project an image of control and competence.
So, what say you? What say you, MAGA? What say you to these 6 Army soldiers that came back in his body bags because Pete WikiLeaks Hexseth sent them to their fucking death? No fucking overhead cover, no bunkers, no air defenses, no cannon battery fire. Just sitting out there in the fucking trailer, waiting to get got. And that's exactly what happened. So what say you about your so-called Secretary of War Crimes? Since you guys are in here, you know more than the experts. What say you about these soldiers? Because y'all don't give a fuck about soldiers. You don't give a fuck about soldiers, man. All you care about is your right-wing talking points. So, once again, you repeat lies. Ain't nobody leaked no motherfucking location, dumbass. The Chinese had everything geolocated. That's why the base was abandoned. But cry harder, man. It just shows that every time y'all in here talking, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. And I just want to let the record know that the MAGA cult will never accept reality. Even when wounded soldiers come back, even when you're getting it from right-wing sources, like where this shit is coming from. This is coming from a right-wing source. Coming out, speaking out against the administration. And you motherfuckers are still running around with your tattoo in your upper thigh meat, crying about, now you want to victim blame the soldiers who got more fucking courage than you, because I'm not dying for fucking Iran or fucking Israel. My son ain't joining this shit show. I will never let my son join the military under these incompetent, racist-ass bastards. That's what happened when you try to get rid of black soldiers. And you want to get rid of fucking trans soldiers that make up 1% of the population. All this fucking racist-ass culture war you love. And you lose the real war because you fucking morons. All right, back to the section, back to the obscurity with the damn right-wing nonsense.
But to the men and women who had just survived the inferno, it was a profound insult. The soldiers refused to let the lie stand. In a rare and powerful break from standard military protocol, they began to speak out, driven by a deep conviction that telling the truth is the only way to honor the fallen and prevent future tragedies. They sat down with independent journalists and systematically dismantled the secretary's narrative. One survivor explicitly called the picture painted by Hexseth an absolute falsehood, stating plainly that the unit was completely unprepared to provide any defense for itself. Another stated without hesitation that the position was never fortified at all. A third survivor delivered the most brutal assessment, noting that the protection provided to them was about as weak as one could possibly get. These were not anonymous whispers or unverified rumors. These were the voices of the men who had been inside the building when the roof caved in. The investigative reporting went even deeper, peeling back the layers of catastrophic decision-making. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the events, senior commanders had already been thoroughly briefed that the port sat squarely on Iran's target list. Force protection assessments had actively recommended against placing any personnel in that location. Yet the move went ahead anyway, framed under the guise of dispersal for safety, separating smaller groups into different locations. But
who would send somebody to a defenseless location? Stupid asses, man. In a fucking trailer? I tell you, man, sheer fucking incompetence. Sheer fucking incompetence.
dispersal without defense is simply distributing targets. And when the drone finally struck, the disparity in leadership was laid bare. Reports indicated that while one general rose from the floor, grabbed his vest and helmet, ordered a subordinate to get out, and ran for the safety of a bunker, the enlisted troops remained in the fire, risking their own lives to save their bleeding comrades. This staggering contradiction between the reality
God damn, General ran away. Whew. But hey, the non-commissioned officers are gonna hold the line, right? The non-commissioned officers are gonna hold the line because that's what we trained to do. They don't call us the backbone of the motherfucking army for nothing, right? So this is what happens, man, when you have motherfucking cowards, bro, and all this shit. That when you take the best generals and you put weak motherfuckers in there that's gonna be kissing Trump ass, you get disasters like this. Fucking disaster. This is what happens, man. When you put your homeboy up in there instead of qualified generals, there you go. So instead of listening to what he's saying, you worried about some breathing issue. I get it, man, because you don't want to deal with the facts. Right? What you should be worried about is just fucking soldiers not breathing anymore. And it's a lot more than fucking 18. I can tell you that. Because they're actively hiding the numbers. Basic shit, man. We've been at war, man. We've been at war for fucking 20 years. I spent most of my military career at war. So resupplying ships, having bunkers and shit and being able to counterattack and all of that, that's basic shit. And these demons don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's why you got this shit going on. So you could cry more about that shit, man. I don't give a fuck what demons think. I don't give a fuck about you. Right? I'm just standing back and standing by to deal with you fucking oath breakers and traitors. This is for my channel. It's always been for reasonable people. People who voted for Kamala Harris, who voted for democracy. I don't give a fuck. Listen, the right wing lost all credibility after January 6th. You motherfuckers went in here, beat the fuck out of these cops, and shit it in the halls of Congress. You're fucking traitors. Every last one of you should have hung till you was dead. But you let that bitch go back in there and pardon these demons and put them on ice. So it is what it is. We move closer to Civil War 2.0. We move closer to revolution. I'm cool either way. Because we're going to finish what General Sherman started. We're finished when Nat Turner started, fucking with us. It's forever fuck Trump. Forever fuck white supremacists. Yeah, fucking oath breakers. Period. And every last one of you should be held to account.
on the ground and the fictions.
Hold on. Somebody over here crying about, we would have lost World War II. Name one war that America won after World War II. And go. I would not join the military, bro. I would not join the military under this administration at all. It's not worth it. Especially if you're not white. If you're not a white male, don't go in that shit. So, how many wars have America won after World War II? TikTok knows the answer. I'm waiting for these guys to catch up on YouTube. I guess they're dealing with some kind of, they a little slow over there. You guys on a 3-minute delay over there? You and your neighbor's Wi-Fi? Antifa is the reason why you won World War II. Right? You're welcome. Antifa won World War II. So, if you're not anti-fascist, then you're clearly fascist. That's why you cool with the Confederacy, you cool with the fucking loser ass Confederate rags, and building all these fucking monuments and renaming our bases after these Confederate demons and want to keep our black ass in chains. Please, it is what it is. All right, let's get back to it, man. Obviously, we're not going to get no intelligent answers for these demons.
Fun at the podium is what fueled Congressman Ryan's righteous fury. He cornered Hexseth, challenging him with the direct words of the surviving soldiers. He asked the secretary point blank if he was accusing these traumatized veterans of lying. Hexseth's instinct, honed by years in the media spotlight, was to immediately raise his voice, attempting to drown out the accusation with pure volume. He aggressively interrupted, accusing the congressman of monologuing falsehoods, and frantically attempted to shift the focus. He pointed to the fact that they had moved 7,500 troops off other bases due to the intelligence, arguing that they had maximized defensive posture across the theater. He claimed they took proactive measures, framing the deaths as the inevitable, tragic consequence of conflict. But Ryan was entirely unmoved by the theatrical outrage. He calmly reclaimed his time, cutting through the noise with a simple, devastating truth. He reminded the secretary that just because you yell, it does not make you right. He spoke on behalf of the survivors, elevating their voices over the defensive shouting of a man desperate to protect his own career. Ryan pointed out the cowardice of labeling the survivors' testimonies as falsehoods. The soldiers had spoken the truth. They had shown more bravery than the man sitting before the committee, and they were rightfully demanding accountability. When a combat veteran looks a civilian leader in the eye and tells him he must resign, it is not a political maneuver. It is the absolute clearest measure of how deeply the culture of leadership has failed. Yet the rot exposed in this hearing extended far beyond the bloodstained grounds of Kuwait. As the proceedings continued, Congressman Bill Keating took the floor, shifting the focus from a failure of defense to a deeply disturbing pattern of aggression on the open seas. He brought the committee's attention to the Department of Defense Law of War Manual, explicitly noting that any order to kill shipwrecked persons constitutes a blatant war crime. This was not an abstract legal discussion. It was the prologue to a series of chilling events that suggested the administration was actively pirating American values and normalizing extrajudicial violence. Keating laid out the facts of a deeply unsettling incident involving a small Ecuadorian fishing vessel. This crew had just finished a grueling day of hard labor, their boat heavily laden with a full stock of albacore and swordfish. They were operating peacefully, roughly 200 nautical miles off the coast of the Galapagos Islands. Without any warning, without any attempt at standard maritime interdiction, they were suddenly engaged by United States military forces. A drone strike tore through the sky, hitting the small vessel. Then another strike followed. It was not a warning shot. It was a deliberate, lethal assault that unleashed chaos and inflicted severe injuries upon the unsuspecting fishermen. The aftermath.
Imagine killing fishermen and lying and saying they're drug dealers. Even if they were drug dealers, killing people on the open seas is a war crime. And killing people who are clinging to life, being shipwrecked, is a textbook war crime. Outlaw. It's the matter of fact, the law of land warfare in the fucking manual. It gives you this fucking example of striking someone who is shipwrecked as being a war crime. So it is what it is. And I don't give a fuck about y'all bitches not wanting to know the truth. I don't care. I am not here to convince racist ass demons for the truth. Fuck you. You still believe in Jesus Christ, bro. And even though you follow the Antichrist. Fuck Jim Crow Jesus. Fuck the right wing. Y'all motherfuckers allergic to the truth. That's why you stay in your little echo chambers over there on Twitter. Shit, it is what it is, man. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna let this dude let soldiers get killed in fucking combat because he's a fucking moron. And that's why them damn soldiers are in body bags right now. Because that's what happened when you have the world's most powerful military, but you decapitate them like the fucking enemies would do. You get rid of all the generals and you put ass kissers in there. Why do you think fucking Afghanistan fell in 13 days, 11 days? Because everybody named Mama was hiring people in there unqualified. I knew Afghanistan was a lost cause in 2013. When I saw all of that shit that was going on, I knew that shit was over then. They propped that shit up. They propped this fucking war up forever, man. The moment Osama bin Laden dropped, we should have been out that bitch. We should have never been there nation building. That's the problem with America. You can't build this fucking nation. How you think you're going to do it overseas? Let's get it.
The strike was as terrifying as the initial explosion. American forces descended upon the survivors, handcuffing the terrified crew members at gunpoint. They placed black hoods over their heads, treating them like high-value combatants rather than collateral damage. Their communication devices were seized and thoroughly scrubbed. These fishermen were held in detention for days, swallowed by a secretive military apparatus until they were ultimately released. Why were they let go? Because there was absolutely no evidence to support any accusations of narco activity, no charges that could possibly be brought against them. The United States military had struck a civilian vessel, struck it again, set it on fire as it sank into the ocean, detained the survivors in terrifying conditions, and simply walked away. But the nightmare on the water did not end there. Keating moved to an even darker example, the double tap strike that occurred on September 2nd in the Caribbean. A vessel was tracked and struck from the air, completely disabled by the explosive force. But instead of moving in to assess or apprehend, the military executed a second strike. This follow-up attack annihilated the remnants of the boat, killing nearly everyone on board. Only 2 survivors were left, desperately clinging to the burning wreckage in the vast expanse of the ocean. The existence of this event is not in question. The military acknowledged it happened. They even released the initial video of the first strike to major news networks worldwide, eager to showcase their lethal reach. However, the Defense Department adamantly refuses to release the follow-up video, the footage documenting the killing of the shipwreck survivors. Despite there being no difference in sources and methods between the 2 recordings, the second tape remains locked away in a vault of classified secrets. The backlash to this event was initially severe, sending shockwaves through the diplomatic community, but the administration scrambled to bury the story. Fingers were pointed in every direction as officials scurried for cover, offering a tacit, panicked acknowledgement that they had likely crossed a catastrophic line into violating international law. The rationales provided for these maritime strikes have been a masterclass in deflection and shifting narratives. First, the public was told these attacks were a vital component of combating fentanyl trafficking. But this explanation quickly unraveled when basic geographic realities were pointed out. Fentanyl primarily flows from China and India, making its way through Mexico, not via small fishing boats off the Galapagos. When that story failed, the argument swiftly pivoted to baseless claims of narco-terrorism. And when the scrutiny intensified even further, the truth finally began to slip out. The president himself eventually acknowledged that these aggressive maneuvers were truly about oil, a heavy-handed attempt to create geopolitical leverage and force regime change in Venezuela. Congressman Keating refused to accept the smoke and mirrors. He declared that he had reviewed the classified information provided as justification for the second Caribbean strike, and in a moment of raw, unfiltered candor, he described it to the committee as the most convoluted nonsense he had ever heard in his life. He demanded that this information be made public, arguing that the true honor of the American military depends on transparency and adherence to international law. He warned that this belligerence on the world stage, strikes that kill innocents, the detention of survivors, the withholding of evidence gravely endangers national security. It alienates allies, destroys the ability to marshal international cooperation, and most dangerously, normalizes reckless actions that could easily place American service members in similar deadly peril across the globe. Different congressmen, different sets of horrifying facts, but exactly the same underlying pattern. Under the current leadership at the Pentagon, the operating procedure has become chillingly clear. Carry out the strikes first, detain the survivors, withhold the video evidence, shift the explanations whenever pressed by lawmakers or the press. Whether the issue is abandoning troops in an undefended port in Kuwait or authorizing maritime assassinations that blatantly defy the law of war, the response from the highest levels of the defense establishment remains stubbornly consistent. They act first, manage the public narrative later, and treat any demand for hard facts as an act of hostility. What connects these seemingly disparate moments of crisis is not the fog of war or the natural complexity of global conflict. It is a fundamental systemic refusal to accept that decisions made in the air-conditioned offices of the Pentagon carry real, permanent, and often bloody costs. What we are witnessing is not a single bad call made under intense pressure. It is the entirely logical, devastating outcome of placing a television personality into a role that demands cold, calculated judgment and a zero-tolerance policy for self-protection. Pete Hexseth spent years meticulously building a personal brand centered on toughness. He spoke fluently in the language of the warrior ethos, constantly preaching about lethality, unyielding standards, and the projection of strength. This type of sharp, aggressive language plays beautifully on camera. It generates ratings.
And if you know anything about the book they just released, Regime Change, that is precisely why Donald Trump picked him, because he looks good on camera. And that he advocated for pardoning the war criminals, right? The motherfuckers from Blackwater who machine gun children to death in Iraq. He got them out of there. So it is what it is. First of all, dumbass, this is not a Ranger beret. So you're a motherfucking fool. The Rangers does not wear this beret. Let me go ahead and pull this out. That's how stupid you motherfuckers are, man. Right? Imagine that shit. This ain't no motherfucking Ranger beret. So you don't know what the fuck you talking about. General Shinseki made everybody wear this. A political decision. Honestly, I never liked the beret. But I rock this beret because I earned that shit, for one. And number two, I'm representing black liberation. So to sit back here and try to tell me I'm some kind of Ranger, bitch, I've never been a Ranger. I've never been a member of the Special Forces community. But I've been fucking soldier. I was a member of the fucking 1st Infantry Division, deployed twice with them. 5 deployments total. How many you got again? Not a goddamn one, because your whole military experience is from Call of Duty. So sit your ass down somewhere, man. Eat shit, man. You can go cry in the comment section. You weak ass demons could never see my military career. Never. I got motherfucking shit up here from all kind of fucking 4-star generals. Motherfucker you see on television talking. I was right there with them. Got them coins for excellence. Got a motherfucking Archon pinned to my chest for rushing a soldier and fucking disarming an active shooter. So no one gives a fuck, man. You could not fuck with my military experience. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, hey, don't cry hard about that shit. Once again, bitch, did you serve in the United States Army? Let's get it. Did you serve in the United States Army? Did you serve in the United States Army? Because I didn't see you here. Right? Did you serve? Not your mama, not your neighbor, not your baby mama, fucking cousin. Did you fucking suit up? I take that as a motherfucking no. Okay. All right. So once again, you couldn't see me. You couldn't see me. Motherfucking folded flags behind me. And these 2 motherfuckers trying to tell me you could never see me, bro. You can never. All you gotta do is go Google U.S. Army Overlord. Go Google U.S. Army Overlord. Even that racist ass AI they got from Twitter verified by military service. Because the first thing y'all little dick demons do is go run back to fucking Reddit and Twitter and be like, he's stolen valor. He's stolen valor. How'd that shit work out for you? Did that shit. Certified combat veteran. You can cry harder about that shit. Motherfucking pukes can't see me, man. Pissed off, man. Hey, but that's what, hey, better stay pissed off than pissed on, scrubs.
A devoted following, but rhetorical toughness is not a defensive system. A sharp soundbite cannot intercept a drone. When the moment arrived that actually tested the weight of his words, the vast, terrifying distance between the television performance and the grim reality of the battlefield was measured in dead American soldiers. The administration's constant refrain that they moved thousands of troops to safety is continuously offered as irrefutable evidence of their seriousness. Yet the 6 soldiers who returned home in flag-draped transfer cases were relocated under that exact same policy. They were deliberately moved into a position that had already been assessed and confirmed as fatally exposed. This is not the unpredictable nature of combat. This is a calculated, reckless risk accepted at the very top of the chain of command, followed immediately by a carefully constructed public account designed to soften the perception of that risk once the deadly cost became undeniable. When a Secretary of Defense views the harrowing, authentic testimony of combat survivors not as a truth that must be faced, but as a public relations problem that must be managed, he has already revealed his true priorities. In this administration, the image always comes first. Accountability is treated as a negotiable concept, something to be bartered away behind closed doors. Hard, necessary questions from elected representatives are immediately framed as partisan hostility, completely disregarding the fundamental constitutional duty of the office to provide answers. This is the toxic culture now operating at the highest echelons of military leadership. The performance of the leaders is fiercely protected at all costs, while the horrific consequences of their decisions are absorbed entirely by the people who never get a turn at the podium. The enlisted men and women, the junior officers, the families waiting anxiously at home, they are the ones left to pay the bill for the hubris of the men in charge. And once this dark pattern is allowed to set in, it does not remain confined to a single port in the Middle East or a single stretch of water in the Caribbean. It spreads like a virus. It becomes the accepted way that business is done, eroding the foundational integrity of the entire institution. The congressional hearing did far more than expose a single catastrophic tactical failure. It ripped the mask off a leadership style that treats accountability as a nuisance to be managed rather than a solemn responsibility to be accepted. When a combat veteran, a man who has physically carried the unimaginable weight of real warfare, looks directly at the Secretary of Defense and states the blindingly obvious, the impact is seismic. He told the room that the soldiers who survived told the truth. He declared that those broken, grieving troops are braver than the powerful man sitting in charge of them. And he demanded the accountability that begins and must end at the very top. This exchange was not meant for the evening news highlight reel. It was the raw, unfiltered language of someone who understands exactly what the ranks on a uniform actually cost to earn and maintain. When the price of an executive decision is measured in the lives of dead Americans, and the institutional response is nothing more than deflection, raised voices, and careful narrative manipulation, the problem has moved far beyond the realm of tactical error. It becomes a profound question of character. It becomes a crisis of standards. We are left with a stark binary choice. Either the office of the Secretary of Defense still carries the sacred expectation that the person holding it fully owns the outcomes of their orders, or that expectation has been quietly, shamefully retired in favor of continuous performance and political survival. Congressman Ryan did not politely request another internal review. He did not ask for a carefully worded, sanitized statement from the Pentagon's press office. He demanded an immediate resignation. That unwavering demand is the absolute clearest measure of just how deeply serious this failure truly was. The fact that this call for accountability had to come from a member of Congress who had actually served in the mud and the blood rather than originating from inside the military institution itself tells you exactly how far the internal culture has drifted from its core values. The larger issue at stake is no longer confined to the tragedy at one port or the trauma of one specific set of survivors. The burning question is whether the American system still possesses the structural capacity and the moral courage to impose real career-ending consequences when the human cost reaches this unbearable height. If a Secretary of Defense can sit in a room, face the direct, contradictory evidence provided by the very men who bled living through his mistakes, and still choose to prioritize his own self-protection over the truth, then the standard has already been disastrously lowered. The system is blinking red. The only remaining question is whether anyone standing outside that hearing room, the citizens watching this unfold, is willing to allow that standard to remain in the gutter. This is the critical juncture where passive analysis ends and active responsibility begins. The record of these events is fully public. The contradictions between the Pentagon's podium and the soldiers on the ground are meticulously documented. The demand for resignation has been made in the plainest, most undeniable language possible. What happens next does not depend on the politicians. It depends entirely on whether the public treats that demand as fleeting political noise or as the absolute minimum non-negotiable requirement for anyone holding that office. If you believe that the men who died in Kuwait and the men who survived to tell the tale deserve something far better than a violently managed explanation, you must make your voice heard. You must draw a line in the sand. Let the world know exactly where you stand on the value of American lives and the necessity of true leadership. Hit the like button to push this message forward. Drop your thoughts in the comments to join the fight for accountability, and make sure to subscribe and stay locked in with this channel. We will not look away. We will keep following the record, relentlessly tracking the truth, because our silence is the exact mechanism by which these lowered standards become permanently written in stone.
Straight up, man. Listen, it's called Border Police Watch. Border Police Watch. So more of a right-wing organization, man. You see how he dismantled this whole thing? Man, I'm telling you, it should be viral. It just dropped not even 8 hours ago, man. That's the reason why I paused. I had to get that shit and get it on here. That's why I was running late tonight. I listened to that shit. I was like, holy shit. They really broke down play by play, man, how crazy this was. So, and remember, we're not even talking about the attack sub, right? The attack sub itself, the sailors on the submarine warned the Iranians. Why do you think they did that? If you give them orders to sink Iranian ship and you fucking tell them to abandon ship, that lets you know that they knew the order was fucked up. Because they knew they was coming back from maneuvers and no ship could have weapons. So they used a fucking attack sub to kill innocent sailors who could not defend themselves. This is why you don't put fucking criminals in charge of the country. Because we warned you that they would do this to the military. We warned you. And now you see it out here playing out, man. War criminals and shit. Special forces stealing fucking tankers. You might as well be Houthi rebels in this bitch. Can you imagine special forces soldiers stealing fucking oil tankers? Criminal shit. Criminals. Donald Trump is a criminal. Always has been. And the right wing just drink that shit up. But it is what it is. I tell you, man, come and arrest me then. If you want to arrest me for ridiculousness, come and arrest me. See how that shit work out for you. Right? See how that shit work out. You'll find out how I got these motherfucking medals. No one gives a fuck about you weak ass demons, man. The only thing, I've never seen this country this weak as I've seen it right now. Donald Trump is a gift to Russia, a gift to all of our adversaries. And Lord knows China has went light years past us now. Because that is what putting ass Republicans do. They steal your money and give it to billionaires. And leave you out in this bitch with bloated fucking deficits. And listen, I want y'all to watch this fucking brain dead comment right here. This moron says the only person murdered on January 6th was Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt is a fucking oath breaker. She earned them booster shots. Right? With her QAnon ass. Because one of her final fucking tweets was, we're going to bring darkness to light. She stalked her fucking her fucking ex-husband's wife. An oath breaker who went from being, you get a little late, who went from being wrapped in a fucking uniform to took her dying breath wrapped in fucking MAGA flags. So it is what it is, man. Nobody cares about you oath breakers, man. You got what she got. It should have been a hell of a lot more, Ashley Babbitt that day. But because y'all put criminals in charge of the country, this is where we are with it. So if you guys missed the video, listen, I'm going to leave it up. You can find this on my YouTube channel. I'm on Kick right now. Facebook is kind of glitchy. But if you guys want to see the video again, just go back and rewatch the live. It's also going to be streaming on Twitch. But Border Police Watch is the name of the group I got it from. It's not even 8 hours old. Amazing video breaking down the war crimes. And we've been talking about this for months. We've been talking about this. So it is what it is. No, I haven't joined About Face or any of those things. I'm really rolling with Union Gang. But I do a lot of collaborations. Right now, I'm doing a collaboration with this other group. The group that's dropped. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me show this to you again. This group right here. Cap right here. These guys, they're the ones that I did the interviews with. And they're tracking. This is a live tracker from Trump's corruption. This man has stole damn near $3 billion. And listen, the right wing does not care. Right? He's stealing your future away, giving it to billionaires. You should have been more like Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was if you wanted to emulate somebody, you should have been like that woman. Because she damn sure was a real fucking a damn saint. She was a saint. Did not become a billionaire, man. Reinvested her money back in the black communities. One of the few people that stood by Black Lives Matter during the uprising. So, this is it. Yeah, man, my YouTube right now, I got 3 different channels, but tonight I am on Armed Black Liberation on YouTube. You can find this replay on Armed Black Liberation. You can follow me under U.S. Army Overlord on Twitch. It'll be replaying there as well. But this is facts, man. This is where we are in the country. It's really a damn shame that we let this much corruption come in, but this is where we are, man. Listen, she really was good, man. She was the best of us. It's a damn shame that, she's gone. I really was, it really was a blow. I came on early to really express, my heartbreak for her because she really is the best of us. Right? Dolly Parton is the best of us, man. Damn right, lower the flags for her. Give her all the honor she deserves. If there is a heaven, that white woman is there. Right? If there really is a heaven out there, she'll be out there teaching the angels how to sing and how, human grace is amazing. She set the fucking gold standard, man, how you treat people with dignity and respect and compassion. And if we had more Dolly Partons in power and less Elon Musk, America will be a better place. And it might just be great the first time. But we got work to do, man. We've let too many evil people get in charge of the country. And now it's on us. Anybody who ever took an oath, anybody who ever believed in the future of this country, we're going to have to fight for this shit now. We have to fight for this, man. Because these people are not going to stop criming. They're not going to stop breaking the law. They're not going to stop doing all this evil shit. And so that's why we got to get out here and get it. And so I walked down from multiple sources today about how all these crimes are out here, man. That's happening. She is great, man. She is great. Listen, Dolly is good people, man. And she always will be. May her name be be spoken with honor and respect, and may it bring peace to their families for generations. Build a big-ass monument to her. Because she is the truth, man. She is the fucking truth. Very few country singers I listen to. But I damn sure listened to her as a kid. And she has always been an honorable person. She's always been on the right side of history. She was, man. She was. Kenny Rogers, that's it. Hey, you know Kenny? Shit, that's the two songs I know, man. The Gambler, you gotta know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You never count your money while sitting at the table. Shit, come on, man. Listen, I'm a fucking poker player, bro. I'm a poker player, bro. Listen, if you want white people that you really want to emulate, man, you got heroes. Right? Dolly Parton is a motherfucking hero, man. Straight up. You should strive to be like her. Amazing, man. What an amazing life, man. What an amazing life. Like I said, that woman, for all these fake-ass religious people, this woman really was. She really walked that damn walk, man. So wherever the higher realms is, may she be well received. May that one be well received, man. God bless her memory. God bless her soul. Straight up, man. Straight up. She is the best of us. That woman had a beautiful soul, man. And the world is a little less bright without her being here. Straight up. Rest in power, Dolly Parton, man. What a fucking life well lived. What a life well lived. It takes a special type of person to deal with fame and fortune, and don't let that shit corrupt your spirit. Because power corrupts, man, as you can see. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. This woman had amazing amazing moral compass. Amazing moral compass, man. Shit. Anyway, guys, listen. It is now, what, damn near 11 p.m. I went long again tonight, man, but I had to get this out. This was incredible, stuff to be talking about. I will be breaking this out and doing it. Much love to all of you, man. Much love to all of you out there. Stay strong in the fight, guys. We got a lot of work to do. Make sure you get everybody and their motherfucking mama out here to vote. Protect yourselves out here. Watch yourself in the South. They're still lynching black people at an alarming rate. So you better be armed up and ready, man. You better be armed up and ready. So listen, guys. So I'm here for the racist demons. So that's it. If you don't understand that, then you might be a racist-ass demon. And remember, boys and girls, the only good Nazi is a damn motherfucking Nazi. And whether it takes 10 months or 10 years, we must be absolutely relentless in our fight against the white delusion of white supremacy. Power to the people.
Mm-hmm. 1713. On the ship Henrietta Marie, chained Africans crossed the Atlantic with no room to stand. Many died before land appeared. Their bodies were thrown into the ocean behind the ship. The ocean saw.
Listen to this closely.
This happened to your bloodline.
This was planned for profit.
Your ancestors still survived it.
The water remembers your ancestors' names. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land alive. You are here because they refuse to die quietly.
Yeah. From the 1500s to the 1800s, European ships crossed West Africa, Portugal, Britain, Spain, France and the Netherlands built this trade. They bought and kidnapped African people for labor in the Americas. Historians estimate that 10 to 12 million Africans survived the crossing. Millions more died before reaching shore. People were taken from Angola, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, and Congo. Many were marched hundreds of miles to slave ports and chains. At ports like Elman, the Castle, and Bonny, families were separated forever. The crossing became known as the Middle Passage. Ships packed human beings below deck like cargo. Some ships held more than 400 people at once. The British ship Brooks became famous for how tightly people were packed. Men, women, and children were chained together for weeks or months. Many could not sit upright. Disease spread fast in the heat below deck. Dysentery, fever, dehydration, and starvation killed thousands. Women were sexually abused by crew members during the voyage. Some captive jumped into the ocean rather than live in slavery in 1781. The crew of the slave ship zoned through more than 130 Africans into the sea for insurance money. The owners went to court demanding payment for the murdered people. Olaudah Equiana wrote about the smell, the chains, and the screaming in his 1789 book. Your ancestors lived through organized torture, created for money.
Do not look away from this history.
They counted black bodies as cargo,
But your ancestors kept fighting. The water remembers your ancestors' names. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land alive. You are here because they refused to die quietly.
Yeah. The Middle Passage helped build the economies of Europe and America. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean depended on enslaved labor. Cotton plantations in the American South depended on enslaved labor. Banks, shipping companies, and insurance firms made fortunes from slavery. Cities like Liverpool and Bristol grew rich from slave voyages in the United States. Slavery expanded after the invention of the cotton gin in 1793. By 1860, nearly 4 million enslaved black people lived in America. Congress banned the importation of enslaved Africans in 1808. But slavery continued inside the country. Children were still sold away from parents at auctions. Black families were still whipped, branded, and controlled by force.